You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage, the October 2023 council meeting for the Municipality of Eastern Charlotte. I'm Vicki Hogarth.
And I'm Florence Mitchell. In today's meeting, Adrienne Boudreau, Chief Operating Officer of the YMCA of Greater St. John, will announce to Council the intention of expanding its child care services in Eastern Charlotte. The YMCA has been providing this service to the region since 2018.
A substantial portion of the meeting will be dedicated to reviewing and passing several bylaws. First, Council will set a date for a public hearing on Bylaw EC-06 regarding all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads. Council will then have the third and final reading of Bylaw EC-07, respecting streets and traffic in St. George. Council will then have the first and second reading of Bylaw EC-08, respecting the fire department, and will then set a date for a public hearing on that bylaw.
Council will have the first and second reading of Bylaw EC-09 concerning the remuneration of firefighters, and will set a date for a public hearing. Next, Council will discuss the gas tax fund. Both the Town of St. George and Village of Blacks Harbour had 5-year capital investment plans surrounding the fund, which the municipality must now consolidate into a single plan.
Council will consider a motion to tender surplus assets in the form of the Day Adventure Center buildings. Finally, Council will make a decision to award a tender for air packs and bottles for fire protection. Now let's join Council at McAdavick Place in St. George.
I will now call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. here at McAdavick Place, St. George. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the October 2023 regular council meeting for Eastern Charlotte. This is our 10th official council meeting for Eastern Charlotte, and I welcome all those that are attending here tonight and those that are watching us on television or on their cell phone or computer. And I want to welcome and thank CHCO for being here tonight. Florence Mitchell is in the back, and of course their star, Vicki Hogarth, is right up front. And in attendance tonight, we have Chris McKinnon, our assistant clerk, right off to my right, and our CAO, Jason Gadet, here tonight. Tonight, I will now have a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Lee, you want to make that motion?
I move to adopt the agenda for the meeting of October the 18th, 2023, regular meeting of council as presented.
I need a seconder for that motion. Councillor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary? And that's passed unanimously. 3 is conflict of interest. Anybody has any conflict of interest may do so now. If not, we move on to adoption of minutes. We have quite a few minutes here to adopt tonight. The first one would be September the 20th, 2023. I'll look for a motion from council. Councillor McKay, would you like to make that motion?
I move to approve the minutes for the meeting of September 20th, 2023, regarding regular meeting of council as circulated to members of council.
We have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder for that. Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Dedarakis.
Just more of a comment. If we look at the minutes, I think that it's just more of a comment. I think that the minutes need to be more clear, complete, and consistent. If we look, and the reason for that is because in case one of the councilors miss a meeting or if the public wants to know something, if we look at the minutes specifically about, let's say, the Project Village development, we don't really see that discussion of why a couple councilors had voted against that proposal. But if we look at another section, we see how another councillor had supported it. We see the details in that. So we just should make an effort more of keeping the minutes complete and adequately reflecting the meeting itself.
Any other questions or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary? And that's passed unanimously. We move on to 4B, which is the September 26th meeting, and I need a motion on the floor for that. Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Lee. Question or comment on the motion? Maybe Councillor Thompson, I'll get you to read that out.
I move to approve the minutes for September the 26th, closed council, circulated to the council members.
Great. Any questions or comments on that motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, and that's passing unanimously. September the 28th, need a motion for that. Oh, Councillor McKay.
I move to approve the minutes for the meeting of September 28th, 2023, closed meeting of council as circulated by to the members of council.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. I need a seconder for that. Councillor Lee. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary? And that's passed unanimously. That brings us to October the 4th. I need a motion from council for that. Councillor Tidd.
I move to approve the minutes for the meeting October 4th, special meeting of council as circulated to the council members.
We have a motion on the floor by Councillor Tidd. I need a seconder for that. Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on this motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Passed unanimously. October the 4th. I need a motion for that. Councillor Thompson, thank you.
I move to approve the minutes for October the 4th, closed meeting, as the minutes were circulated.
I need a seconder for that motion. It's Councillor Lee, just by here. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary? And that's passed unanimously. October the 10th. I need a motion from council for that. Councillor McKay. Seconded by Councillor Lee. And I need Councillor McKay, if you want to go ahead and read that.
Okay. I move to approve the minutes for the meeting of October 10th, 2023, closed meeting of council as circulated to the members of council.
Great. Thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor and a second by Councillor Lee. I need any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. That's passed unanimously. That's all the meetings. That brings us to number 5, business arising out of the minutes. I don't believe there's anything tonight. And number 6 is delegations. And tonight we have Adrian Boudreau from the YMCA, Greater St. John. Thank you, Adrian, for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to come and speak about childcare in Eastern Charlotte County. Our YMCA of Greater St. John has been serving the community for over now 169 years. We're a charity with a vision of creating community impact in southern New Brunswick. For those of you that are not aware, the YMCA began programming in Eastern Charlotte in 2018, running summer day camps here at Macadavic Place. This program turned into an after-school program serving children from St. George Elementary, Blacks Harbour, and Back Bay Elementary. Since 2018, we have seen over 1,300 spaces filled in our programs and have provided over $15,000 in Strong Communities funding to families that are in need. During the first few years of day camp and after school, it was indicated that there was a need for childcare for children under 5. So the Y conducted a community survey and we began looking for potential locations at that time. There was also an expressed need for recreation programming in the area. In 2021, the Y partnered with the Village of Blacks Harbour to run recreation programs out of the Patrick Connors Arena. And we also got a grant to support more programming in all of Eastern Charlotte. These programs have been very successful, and last year in 2022, we had over 1,000 participants come to these programs. These programs are managed by Paige Scott, and all of our program information can be found and information on Facebook on the YMCA of Eastern Charlotte County. So back to childcare, the Y continued to look for childcare locations in in St. George when the New Brunswick Early Learning and Childcare Agreement was enacted. And this meant anyone that now wanted to open a designated childcare center had to go through a call for proposals. And they needed to be selected through that. So the YMCA did apply for spaces, and through this process we were awarded 6 infant spaces and 17 preschool spaces in the St. George area, which would cover St. George, Canal, Blacks Harbour, and Utopia. Our plan is to open more spaces than that, and we will apply for more designation when the next call for proposals comes out at the end of 2023. We're excited about this new center and providing much-needed childcare for families in Eastern Charlotte. We're looking forward to working with you on this initiative and hope that we will soon be able to announce a location. And then at that time, we will be open to taking names for a wait list and also be able to provide an opening date to members of the community. I just want to say thank you for your support of the YMCA in Eastern Charlotte County and helping us strengthen the foundation of your community.
Thank you very much, Adrian.
Thank you.
If you could just stay there just for a minute or two, I'm going to go to council at this point and see if they have any questions
Sure.
on your presentation. Council? And I guess not. Thank you
Okay.
very much for coming tonight. Council, that brings us to department reports tonight. And 7A is the general government report, and I'll call on our CAO, Jason Gadet.
Thank you, Your Worship. General government report for the month of September. Finance, the others report for 2022 financial statements for the town of St. George and Village of Blacks Harbor were presented and accepted at the special meeting of council on October 4th. Now working on compiling the first preliminary draft of the 2024 budget for Eastern Charlotte. Bylaws, additional bylaws being drafted at the moment by staff, animal protection, a roadside peddlers bylaw, a combined municipal water and sewage bylaw, a Blacks Harbor road and traffic bylaw, and as well working on building and planning fee structures. Municipal building, compiling inventory of public rentals within all the municipal buildings that we have, and working on updating the rental agreements with rates. Ongoing discussions with provider and economic development on possible childcare initiatives for the area. Properties, meeting weekly with bylaw enforcement, 15+ dangerous unsightly properties. We do have 3 files that will be coming to council fairly soon. Just go to the next steps. Properties, we did some survey work, completed municipal properties in Blacks Harbor for inclusion in development properties list. We are compiling an overall development land list, so developers coming to the area can get that list. Housing developments in St. George and Blacks Harbor ongoing, waiting for the Housing Acceleration Fund decision. No updates on that. I checked with the Service Commission yesterday and still pending. Transportation work with Dilling Consulting on traffic studies for the intersections in St. George. That's the Chapel Corner and the Latique Road by the Irving intersection. There is some traffic monitoring and vehicle count being conducted as of right now. The provincial municipal highway program 24-26 plan will be coming to council for November's meeting. St. George Health Clinic, meeting with Dr. Drost and Dr. Hamid on updating the cooperative services at the St. George Medical Clinic at the mall. Arena preparations and upgrades continue. Heating unit for the lobby area, office in the lower rec area, and more lighting fixtures to be installed. Fire, 2 surplus units in the fire department did not sell in tender. Vehicles will be retendered, and we're also drafting, of course, here tonight, 2 drafts of bylaws regarding the fire service. Water system, St. George Public Works will be conducting flushing in the St. George area over the next couple of weeks. We're advisories have been sent out to residents, and any residents can call the municipal office for more information. As far as utilities as well, ongoing work with respect to the water, wastewater for St. George and Blacks Harbor. That's the water discovery for the St. George water system, as well for the Blacks Harbor system as well. And residents are reminded that white goods recycling ends October 31st and does not resume again until April the 1st of next year. Please call 466-7830 to schedule a pickup. And that is the general government report.
Thank you very much, Jason. Question or comment on that from council? I'm going to go. Councilor Dederach, here first.
Your Worship, I have a question for our CAO. For the section that's just outside the St. George Elementary, the gravel section that needs to be paved, is there an estimate of when that's going to be done?
Where is that? That's
just outside the St. George Elementary School.
Oh, Friday, actually.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, so,
Thank you.
Chris, we're on number 7 up here. Any other questions or comments on that? No? If not, I'm going to go with the Building and Planning Report, Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission, and we have Alex Henderson in the house tonight.
Thank you, Your Worship. All right, so with regards to the planning update, there's some big news with the province. They've adopted a new regulation at Cabinet. It's called the Statements of Provincial or Public Interest Regulation. And so what this does, it provides a new minimum framework for your local plans in New Brunswick. So it applies across New Brunswick. It's online, so anybody can go access it, but it's a fairly short regulation that covers 5 main areas: settlement, climate change, agriculture, natural resources, as well as some conservation matters of public interest when it comes to planning. So going forward, when council is looking to adopt a new Community Planning Act bylaw, we'll have to make sure it complies with this new provincial policy. We also included past minutes for the PRAC with the report here. So any questions on that, I could field those. As the CEO mentioned, we recommended that the municipality adopt a new planning fees bylaw. So this covers your miscellaneous services like variances, zoning confirmation letters, just to make sure it's uniform across the board in Eastern Charlotte. So that was in your previous month's package, but coming back to you. Oh, sorry, no, I'm confused here. This is new to your package this month. But yeah, so the planning fees bylaw covers those miscellaneous services that are going to be different fees currently if you're in the village of Blacks Harbor, the old boundaries, or you're in Penfield, the old boundaries, or the old boundaries of St. George. So this harmonizes it and just makes it simpler for developers. With regard to the development and permits, there's been 67 building demolition or development permits issued to date. So your total value of construction is $7.6 million. 29 new net dwellings permitted to date in the municipality. 23 zoning confirmation letters. 10 variances or terms and conditions applications that have been approved. 21 subdivision approvals have been granted, and 3 new in the report period. Just 1 new sign permit in the report period. Going on to enforcement, we've have 43 enforcement files been opened in Eastern Charlotte year to date. And this is in Community Planning Act bylaws, your building bylaw, or the Dangerous Unsightly Premises Act bylaws. So to date, 18 of those files have been closed for achieving compliance. Others are in various stages of progress towards compliance. So that concludes my report, and happy to take any questions.
Great. Thank you, Alex. And I'll go to council. And council is very quiet tonight. Thank you very much for coming in tonight. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That brings us to 7C, council, and is the fire report, and I'll call on Councillor Thompson for this.
For the month of September, Eastern Charlotte Fire Rescue had a total of 65 calls. 11 of these calls were from the post-tropical storm Lee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Any question or comment from that? If not, we'll move on to 7D, which is the Public Works Report. I'll call on Councillor McClory.
Okay. For Blacks Harbor, they continue to do regular checks on water and wastewater treatment system. They're finishing up on the mowing in the parks and playgrounds and doing general maintenance on the equipment. They did have a fire hydrant repair and replaced it with new parts, so now all 57 hydrants are running. They kept the storm drains clear during the storm. Well, it was a couple of weeks ago, I guess now. Hurricane Lee come through. Doing regular maintenance and checks to all equipment, getting ready for the winter. And garbage truck installed a new, longer platform, so 2 people could stand on the back safer. St. George. saw the flowers on Main Street come down. Helped the pickleball club out by assembling and installing benches and a storage shed. 2 of the newest members of the works crew updated their training for chainsaw safety. Vehicle maintenance is an ongoing issue. Second Falls Fire Hall needed some bushes cut down around the building. Cleanup during the storm saw the crew in for most of the Saturday, moving down trees and branches, and then a couple more on Sunday to sweep away the scattered tree debris. Part of the bank of St. Clint on Clinchy Street gave way and had to haul in some backfill for that. They're working on installing new community limit signs. Annual maintenance for snow plow equipment is ongoing. The backhoe plow has some major structural cracks in the mounting frame, indicating it's time for replacement of the plow. And we are still receiving odor and taste complaints from residents, which are hoping to alleviate with the fall hydrant flushing program. And a couple of the works crew helped to get some finishing touches done at the rink before it opened. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilor McQuarrie. I just want to state one thing tonight, that the Public Works crew of Eastern Charlotte are the very best. We've got a great crew in Blacks Harbor, St. George, and these guys do an admirable job for our area, and we're very fortunate to have each one of them working for us. I want to say thank you to them for doing a great job in both areas for honoring our veterans by making sure the banners are all up this year. They make me feel good when I go down the street, and when I drive down the street, it shows respect for the people, the veterans who, if it wasn't for those people, we wouldn't be here tonight. So that's a great thing to see those up in our community. So we're very fortunate. Any other questions or comments from council? If not, I'll go to committee reports, and I'll go to Councilor Hatt first. I can see your hand moving over there.
Yep. So for September into current to October for recreation, after long hours, dedication, and quite a storm, the arena has now opened up for the 2023-2024 season. I want to extend a huge thank you to our recreation foreman Drew Dugan, as well as Jamie Melanson, Landon Thompson, both Blacks Harbor and St. George Public Work crews, Jeremy McShane from the Garceland Civic Center, and the local businesses that were able to chip in and help us track down equipment. There's still a few ice times available for like weekly rentals. Give the municipal office a call or message them on Facebook. Again, this season we're offering $50 private skates. It's also known as the former bubble skate. These times are posted Monday morning, and then they'll be filled first come, first serve. Free skating is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 to 5. Public skating and sticks and pucks are Sunday from 1:30 to 5 p.m. at different time slots in that 1:30 to 5. A full schedule can be found on the Parks and Recreation page. Hometown Hero nominations are open, but only until October 31st. Eastern Charlotte is filled with residents who sacrificed for the good of the community, and we need your help to ensure that more of these heroes are recognized in their efforts. If you have someone that you would like to nominate, there's a fillable online form. The forms are available on the website at easterncharlotte.ca. We've partnered with local businesses, groups, vendors, and talent. Christmas kickoff beginning Thursday, November the 30th through to Sunday, December the 3rd. A full schedule is posted on our Facebook page. And lastly, with Halloween right around the corner, with so many Halloween events happening around Eastern Charlotte, trunk or treat, dances, haunted houses, just want to remind everyone to be vigilant and wear reflective clothing and look out for another and have a safe and happy Halloween.
Great. Thank you, Councilor Hatt. Is there any other committees like to make a report tonight? If not, we'll move on to the financial statement tonight, and look for a motion from the floor on that. Councilor McKay, thank you very much. And I'll let you go ahead and read that. Number 8. Number 8, yeah. That's all right. I'm going too fast, maybe.
I move that council accept the financial report for September 2023.
Thank you very much, Councillor McKay, and I need a second for that. Councillor Lee. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary? And that is passed unanimously. That brings us to new business tonight, Council, and we have 10A, which is the bylaw EC-06, all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads. And I'm going to, before we go any further, I'm going to go to our CAO for a little background on this.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is bylaw EC-06, all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads for St. George, and we had previously sent this to the province for review. They did come back with some suggestions, particularly around the speed, which was then updated to this to the current bylaw in the state that it is. So what we would have to have at this point is just council to put forward a public hearing date. And as of right now, the bylaw is in its second reading, so this would be a public hearing date, and this would come back to council after that point for a third and final reading.
Great. So at this point, I will entertain a motion for somebody to set a public hearing date. All right, Councillor Thompson. Thank you, Councillor Thompson. I need a seconder for that. Councillor McKay. Question or comment on the motion? No, I thought you were going to say Councillor Dederakis. No, you're just sitting up straight. Okay. Anybody else? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary. And that's passed unanimously. Okay, now we move on to 10B, which is the bylaw EC-07, and this is respecting streets and traffic in St. George. Again, I'll go to our CAO for a little background on this.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is bylaw EC-07, respecting streets and traffic in the community of St. George, and this was part of the public hearing of October the 4th. We had a public hearing on that bylaw. And so this would be third and final reading by title only of EC-07, respecting streets and traffic in St. George.
Great. So at this point, I'll look for a motion from council for a third and final reading of bylaw EC-07. I'm going to go to the deputy mayor. Just going to make that motion. Go ahead.
I move that council accept the third and final reading by title only of bylaw EC-07, respecting streets and traffic in St. George.
Great. I need a seconder for that motion. Councillor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary? And that's passed unanimously. Next, we move to 10C, bylaw number EC-08, respecting the fire department. Now I'll go to our CAO for a little background on this.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is bylaw EC-08, respecting the fire department. So this bylaw is put together. There was several other bylaws in the former town of St. George and the former village of Black Sarber. This would replace those bylaws, and really this bylaw is a bylaw on more so of positions within the fire department and requirements of firefighters. And again, this would just be a first reading by title only.
Great. So at this point, I'll entertain a motion from council. Councillor McKay, you go right ahead.
I move that council accept the first reading by title only of bylaw EC-08, respecting the fire department.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. I need a seconder for that. Deputy Mayor. Deputy Mayor Hatt. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary? And that's passed unanimously. Now we move to 10C2. This is the same thing again, but it's only the second reading. If council, I'll entertain a motion for a second reading of this bylaw. Councillor Tidd.
I move that council accept the second reading in its entirety of bylaw EC-08, respecting the fire department.
We have a motion on the floor by Councillor Tidd. I need a seconder for that. We'll get all kinds of hands. Okay, Councilor Lee, I just saw you just quick. Question or comment on this motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary? That is passed unanimously. Oh, yes, okay, go ahead.
And just with second reading in its entirety, EC-08 respecting of the fire department, that bylaw will be made available to the public either at the Municipal Hall or online at easterncharlotte.ca for review.
Great. That'd be what, tomorrow morning? Okay, 10C3, Council, where is the date for a public hearing, and this is for the bylaw, for the bylaws we just did the first readings on. So what I'll do, I'll go to Jason first and see if you have any comments on this.
No, so this would just be a bylaw public hearing of any objections or comments from the public.
Great. I'll entertain a motion from Council. Councilor Lee, you're first. Seconded by, okay, you go ahead, Councilor Lee first.
I move to schedule a public hearing of objections to the bylaw number EC-08 respecting the fire department on Wednesday, November the 8th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. to be held at the Macadavic Place Community Center.
Councilor Thompson, you seconded that? Okay, good. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary? None? That's passed unanimously. 10D, bylaw number EC-09, remuneration of firefighters. I'll go to Jason for this again.
Thank you, Your Worship. So, bylaw EC-09, remuneration of firefighters. So this would be for remuneration of the volunteer fire service in regards to per call rate, as well as rates for any of its senior leadership. And so this would require a first reading by title only.
So at this point, I'll entertain a motion for a first reading of this. Councilor Thompson?
I move the council accept the first reading by title only of bylaw EC-09, remuneration for firefighters.
Great. Thank you, Councilor Thompson. So we need a second for that. Oh, we got all kinds of hands up. Councilor Tidd, I think I saw you first. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. And contrary? None. That's passed unanimously. Okay, 10D2. Did you want to say something on that too? No, you're all good. So I'll entertain a motion for a second reading of 10D2. Councilor Tidd. Seconded by, you go ahead and read it first.
I move that council accept the second reading in its entirety of bylaw EC-09, enumeration of fire.
Okay, I need a seconder for that motion. Councilor Thompson. Question or comment on that motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary? And that's passed unanimously.
And just with the passing second reading of EC-09, remuneration of firefighters, that bylaw will be made public at the Municipal Hall as well as on the website easterncharlotte.ca for review.
That's kind of neat up there. I like that. That's the first time I've seen that up there. It looks good. 10D3, date for a public hearing. Jason, would you like to speak on that?
So this will be a public hearing, hearing of objections or public feedback on EC-09, and again, for any comments on the bylaw, be a public hearing.
So at this point, I'll entertain a motion to set a public meeting. Okay, Councilor Lee.
I move to schedule a public hearing of objections to the bylaw EC-09, remuneration of firefighters, on Wednesday, November the 8th, 2023 at 6:30 to be held at the Macadavic Place Community Center.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilor Lee. I need a seconder, Deputy Mayor. You seconded that. Question or comment on the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. That brings us to 10E tonight, Gas Tax Fund, the consolidated plan. I'm going to go to Jason on this to give a little background on.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is the Gas Tax Fund 2019-2023. Both the previous Town of St. George and the Village of Blacks Harbor had gas tax plans. They were 5-year capital investment plans. And as requested by the province, we have to consolidate those plans into a single Eastern Charlotte plan. And so this would only be dealing with the gas tax funds that were allocated to those former municipalities. There is some gas tax fund that will come to council that comes from the unincorporated areas of the former LSDs, but this plan is just for the former municipalities. Council has a copy of that, and just to quickly go over what some of this will be doing, just local roads for paving in Blacks Harbor. Some of the local roads include fund the Arena Street, Greenlaw Mountain, and depending on how much we come with budget, could be some other ones such as Cedar Court. There's also some street and road resurfacing in St. George, and that was scheduled following suit with what the Town of St. George original Town of St. George plan was to finish off with the Manor Road. And the last piece was sidewalk upgrades with Blacks Harbor, and that's the sidewalk coming into the harbor all the way through to the new section by the arena.
Excellent. So at this point, Council, I'll entertain a motion. None? No. Okay, Councillor Thompson, I see your hand coming up. Oh, Tid's over here too. Okay, Thompson, you're first.
I move that council accept the Eastern Charlotte Consolidated Gas Tax Fund plan for 2019 to 2023.
Councillor, thank you. Councillor Tid, you want to second that? Great, thank you. Question or comment on the motion? Looks like a lot of work coming up. That's good. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary? That's passed unanimously. 10F, surplus assets. I'm going to go to Jason on this to give a little background for the public.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is one that's been sort of scheduled to come to council for a while. This is a surplus assets report. This would be for the Day Adventure Center buildings. We put these out to create surplus, to put these out to tender. And so really with all these buildings, as of right now, we have a few different plans in the works and looking ahead. But I guess any of these plans don't include the current buildings. And a lot of these buildings are dilapidated. We have very limited funds to actually go in and fully repair them. So this would be to remove the buildings, lay the area, make green space for now, and then go out to look at some different options. It could be a variety of different ways that we come up with that. But we'll certainly be looking to put something out to the public on a couple of those ideas that council has looked at for the long term, and to kind of revitalize that park space. So this would be a surplus asset list for Day Adventure Center building 11 through 21. And I believe on this estimated value is a starting bids of $100, and those both would be conditional of the buildings being removed. I think right now the draft tender says the buildings have to be removed by April the 1st or April the 30th, one or the other. It's a month of April. So we'd have the winter months for the buildings to be removed. All the current current tenants that are there have been advised of the impeding change. And so most of them will be vacating the buildings in November.
Okay, thank you, Jason. At this point, I'll entertain a motion for that. Councillor Tidd.
I move that council declare a surplus and advertise and tender the following items: Day Adventure Center building number 11, estimated value $100. Building number 13, same value. Number 15, same value. 17, same value. 19, same value. And 21.
Thank you, Councillor Tidd. I need a seconder for that motion. Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Hatt, you're first.
Your Worship, mind if I address a question to our CAO, Jason?
Absolutely, yep.
But that's not all the buildings. There's still going to be one left for power that can be used like it is being today to feed a food truck or whatever, correct?
Correct. Yeah, so building 17 is, though it's on the list, the intent is to keep that building next year, and, maybe for the future year, just to ensure that we have bathrooms down there and a power access. We do have some food, like at least one food truck now, so they do have to have some sort of a place to have water access and hookups for power. So the plan as of right now is to certainly leave that building 17.
Maybe we should remove that building off this tendered list until the time comes closer that it's required. That gets kind of muddy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Say 2 years down the road, maybe you can take the building off.
Yeah, the actual tendering will have to come through council to be approved anyways. So once that building, if it somehow gets into the mix of being tendered, council would at that point, choose not to accept that tender for that building. So either way, I guess looking down the road, it would stay surplus. Doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna get rid of it, but certainly the intent is to keep 17 and tender out the other remaining buildings for next year.
Any other questions or comments on this motion? None? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. And contrary, Councillor Hatt is voted nay for that, and I declare that motion carried. That brings us to 10G, which is the tender 2023-04 air packs and bottles for fire protection. Go to Jason for a background on this.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this was for tender request for quotes for air packs and bottles for the Eastern Charlotte Fire Rescue 2023-04. So RFQ 2023-04 was opened September 27th, 2023, and the tendering itself was opened on the 27th and closed on October the 13th at 2 p.m. The following one submission was received: Safety Source for $161,184, and no other submissions were received, and price does not include HST. So these would be for a number of air packs and replacement bottles for the fire service. The funding for this tender will be made possible by the Municipal Capital Borrowing Board, October 2023. Hearing approved, protective services air packs at a total of 178 over 10 years. So this tender would certainly fall under that borrowing.
Good. So at this point, I'll entertain a motion for that. Councillor Thompson.
I move that council award the tender 2304 air packs and bottles to Safety Source in the amount of $161,184.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. I need a seconder for that. Councillor Dederakis. Question or comment on the motion? If there's none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary? That's passed unanimously. So, I don't think there's anything else tonight. That brings us to what? Which one next, Chris? Number 12. Public presentation and appearances. Please note under bylaw EC-01, section 7.1, members of the public shall be entitled to address council for 5 minutes with no debate from council on matters of municipal jurisdiction. Just remember, this is not a question and answer time. This is your opportunity to speak to council. And all I ask for is to give your name and your civic address when you come to the microphone. I don't see anybody moving. Yeah, you can just come right over the microphone. That'd be great. Excellent. Yeah. So all we would need is just your name and civic address, and then you've got 5 minutes. Take your time.
Find the letter first.
Oh, we won't start until you say your first word, so take your time.
Of course, I lost it.
That's all right.
Okay, so my name is Glenn Miller. I am currently president of Granite Gardeners in St. George. I live at 49 Riverview Avenue here in St. George. Yesterday, I submitted a letter to council on behalf of the Granite Gardeners, and I would just like to read it now for your consideration. So, to Mayor Craig and Council of Eastern Charlotte, on behalf of the Granite Gardeners, Granite Gardeners is a nonprofit organization composed of 40 new and experienced flower and vegetable gardeners throughout Eastern Charlotte. We started about 25 years ago. We meet monthly and often invite speakers from as far as Fredericton, St. John, as well as local area. Recent topics included grafting fruit trees, recognizing and avoiding invasive species, composting, and fire-safe practices. At the beginning, we used to meet at the Fundy High School. Then several years ago, we moved to the McAdavid Center, where we now meet on the fourth Wednesday of the month. And we would really appreciate this arrangement and hope that access to this valued community space will continue. And is signed by the executive.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, come right ahead. Yeah, right over to the microphone. Probably the number one real estate agent.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Pat Wilcox.
Yeah.
Been a realtor for 32 years. I have concerns about the Community Planning Act. I don't know if you guys can change it or make things, but the first part of the act says population has been declining at a rate similar to that rest of Charlotte County population growth, and how it's not correct. We've been growing, all of Charlotte County. The other part of it, it says the plan was written to adapt to changes in circumstances over as caused by time and should be perceived as continual planning. Okay, what my biggest point is, it had always been, since I got in the business, that you could buy an acre of land, and as long as it met health standards, well and septic, you could put a house on it. When the planning was changed back in 2020, it was said that if it was registered as a residential property or a residential piece of ground, you could still put an acre lot, and buy an acre, put a house on it. The planning was changed, so now if the land is registered as forest land or farmland, you have to buy 5 acres to put that house on. And I think that's discriminatory, and it's taking a lot of our young people out of the market. I think it should be considered by council to change it. I don't know. I came here because I wasn't sure where to go to find out about a change. So it is my concern that a lot of our young people and some of our older people, they want to get out of large houses and get into a small house on a little piece of ground. There's acres of land, 100-acre pieces in Penfield that are divided by 3 highways. So there's 3 or 4 acres between the highways that could be used as housing, but because it's registered as farmland, it can't be sold for a house.
That's right.
So I think we need to look at, or council needs to look at it. Somebody needs to look at it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for coming in tonight, Pat. I appreciate that very much. Anybody else? I say you've been out shopping tonight. You get the
Hi there. My name is Sandy Shaw. I'm a firefighter, level 2 firefighter with the Eastern Charlotte Fire Service. Fire Rescue now, I guess it's called. I live at 12 Barker Road in Bethel. And I'm here tonight to talk about money that I'm owed by the municipality. I was hurt on scene on April 14th, 2023. We had a forest fire in Mascarene, and St. George Fire Department was called. We were called from Blacks Harbor for mutual aid. And I went to the scene in my personal vehicle, and when I got there, I was given my orders, and I went and took care of my orders, and I got hurt, and It's a little hard to talk about because I'm still in the middle of being treated, but right now I look like I'm in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy, but I have a couple of hernias and my bowel's gone inside of it, and that happened on scene. I got hurt. I asked to be removed from scene. That was refused. I was also actually told to go do more work, so I did. I followed my orders, and I went and did more work, hurt. And then I was told to go to we actually received another call at the time to go to a structure fire in Beaver Harbor. Because I'm a driver and a pump operator, I was told to leave that scene and go to the structure fire. En route to the structure fire in Beaver, we got another call for another structure fire in St. George. All of our personnel were used up. We had nobody. I knew where they were and what was going on. So I left my route to Beaver Harbor and headed to the structure fire in St. George, which happened to be a friend of mine, his house. I got there and I was the only firefighter and I had no equipment to work with, and we had a water hose, and luckily the fire was almost out. By the time I had got a chance to do anything, the St. George Fire Department, a couple of fellows did show up with equipment. So I left that fire scene and headed to the structure fire in Beaver Harbor, where I took over Chief Shaw's position while he was running the pumps, so that he could delegate, so I run the pumps. While I was hurt, and I was in a lot of pain, I was also bleeding, and I could barely stand up. But I stayed through all that and kept persevering until it was over, because we had very little personnel. We were spread everywhere that day. And that was just the beginning of our forest fires. During that forest fire in Mascarene, when I got hurt, I come out of the position where I was when I got hurt, and I told my deputy chief, and I needed a ride out, and I couldn't get a ride out of the scene, so I had to stay. So, if I may approach, I just want to show you how hot it was in that fire and how dangerous it is for us firefighters. This was a pair of sunglasses I had on to protect my eyes that day. It was so hot in that fire where I was, the position I was, that my sunglasses actually melted, and you can see the fingerprints in my sunglasses where I kept pushing them up on my face because they were sliding down my face from sweat. And I'm just going to hand these to you so you can see my fingerprints. And I'm going to pass them around. So after that fire and all that was done, I had to find out from hospitals and tests and stuff what was wrong with me, because they were internal problems, and I didn't know what was going on. It took us a while to find out through tests and stuff, and after we found out, we went to, by that time, the new fire chief was brought in, Justin Johnson. So Chief Shaw went to Justin Johnson and told him what transpired, and that we had gotten some test results back, but not all of them, and that what happened with the incident, and we were ignored. That was ignored. I asked for meetings, they were ignored. I asked for more meetings, they were ignored again. I sent emails, I made phone calls. I have dates and times of every single one, and they were ignored. From April 14th until today, they have still been ignored. I have a cleaning job at the fire hall.
Okay, Sandy, it's supposed to be for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I have to stick to the rules, but I will give you one more minute, okay?
Okay. I have a cleaning job at the fire hall, and I've done my cleaning job. The contract was for me to get paid a certain amount of money every 6 months, $1,200 every 6 months for cleaning. And I haven't received that in 6 months, and I did the work. And now I've gone over the 6 months, and I have 4 more months owed to me, and I haven't received that. When that was submitted to Jason Gadet, the CAO, he decided that that amount was no longer something that I was going to be allowed to have, so he cut my wages in half for work that was already done. So instead of getting $1,200 for work already done, I only received $600.
Yeah,
and I still haven't received the $400 more that I'm supposed to get. I also am owed $347.32 for lieutenant badges that I was never given the position as a lieutenant, and the badges are here, and I've never been given the money. I've submitted. I'm also owed money for forest fires that I've never been given. So right now, up to date, other than the forest fire money that I don't even know how much I'm owed, I am owed $1,347.32 from at least a year ago, and I haven't seen any of that money. And I've also submitted papers for, I'm sorry I'm going over, but this is very important. I submitted papers because I'm hurt, I've been put out of work, and I'm on compensation, supposed to be. I submitted my compensation papers September 5th. They have never, ever received them in compensation. Compensation has not received my papers. September 5th, they were handed in to Justin Johnson. He told us that he immediately given them to the CAO, and they've never received them in compensation. A month and a half.
I have to shut you down at this point because we've gone into at least 8, 9, 10 minutes. So
just to let you know that I'm owed a lot of money, and I'd like to have my money.
Thank you.
If that's the way that you're going to treat the volunteer firefighters for the work that they do, shame on you.
Okay. Anybody else like to make a comment tonight? Oh.
Wayne Avery, 101 Main Street. I just got a couple observations I wanted to make.
Yeah, welcome to
good talk, Sandy. Okay. I've noticed, like, since April, and that when you go through your guys' minutes, like you have your regular minutes meetings every month, right? But you guys have had 17 closed and special meetings, right? That's a lot of closed and special meetings that we're not finding out anything about, right? Shouldn't these special meetings and some of the stuff you discussed at your closed meetings be put in these meetings so that the people can find out what's going on? As far as I'm concerned right now, I like every one of you guys. I have nothing against you. But you guys are not very transparent. You're keeping a lot of stuff away from us that we don't hear about, right? So I'd just like to find out about that, why you're having so many. I know you're not going to answer nothing. That's fine. But I mean, 17's a lot of meetings in 6 months, since April. That's my backup. The other thing is the ATV thing. Back when you had the meeting in June, that's fine. I see your guys have all scheduled for the same time this time. Good, maybe I'll make this one and that. But I did send in a letter of complaint to John about a conflict of interest and that. According to your rules, I believe you're supposed to read it at the next regular council meeting. But you guys have never read it out. So I'd just like to know why you haven't done that. Right? And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Wayne. Anybody else like to? Sam? No? Yeah, absolutely. No, go right ahead. Ladies first.
Joan Craig from Penfield.
Another Craig
I just want
in
to
the
say
room.
thank you to everybody that spoke today. I think it's really important, like he said, Wayne said, like we do like you guys, but transparency isn't great. And I'm wondering if somehow we can solve that. If there's, this is new to me too, like maybe you can have an open session one day so that we can ask you questions. I know you're gonna maybe need a sergeant of arms or something to make sure things stay in order. I understand that, I've been there, but I think maybe you can consider that or something like that. I don't know how you do that, guys, but I just want to bring that forward to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Anybody else like to make a comment? Get 5 minutes. There we go.
Hi, I'm Ashley Guthrie. I'm at 4 Minnie Road in Penfield. I came to my first public council meeting tonight. I want to first off say thank you to the Y for being here. We know that childcare is very important in our community. And we know that you guys have voiced that this is a concern in our community and it is a top priority, and we have a lot of members that are here that know that this is a concern and are willing to work with you as a partnership. Some of my comments is we have the seats. So what are the plans that will be next to make sure that we don't lose those seats and we can grow this region together? So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, anybody else? Going once, twice, 3 times. That's it. Okay, we move on. Statements by members of council. The only thing I've got tonight, right when I came in tonight, I had the Eastern Charlotte Lions Club ask me to mention that they're going to have a trunk or treat on Friday, October the 27th, between 6 and 7:30 at the Lions Hall. And anybody wishes to put a trunk in or just be part of it, they can do so. I'm going to go to my deputy mayor first. Councillor Thompson. Councillor Hatt.
So, I agree 100%. Childcare is very important. At least my opinion of that, it is very important to the community. So isn't having a community building too. And I believe there is a way that can be rejigged with modular structures or whatever we decide here, that the building can be used for both purposes and not affect either one of them. So I think that is very doable. There's a lot of moving parts with that, obviously. And yes, there is some confidential information with some of that as well. So thus for some closed door meetings that have gone on. The other thing would be is there is some closed door meetings that happen because of developments, land, legal, personnel issues. So there are some of the issues that come on that we have to discuss too. So anyway, I do believe that childcare is an important thing in our community. Also, so isn't a community space for our community as well. And I think we can make sure that we can do both things. So.
Thank you, Councillor Hatt. Councillor Dederakis, you're next.
Thank you, Councillor Hatt, for that statement. Thank you, Adrian, for coming this evening. I don't know where she is. Hi. Thank you for coming this evening. We look forward to continuing our partnership with the YMCA. Just so everyone knows, we do have to have our budget approved by January 1st, 2024, and this is coming sooner than we think. This will be the first budget ever created by Eastern Charlotte. I don't know if everyone knows this, but the current budget we have was done by the provincial government during the amalgamation. I know that other municipalities have started working on this publicly. They've been having those discussions publicly, and we should probably be doing the same. So that should be the plan for our next regular council meeting. Second point is, a few months ago we heard some complaints that there wasn't sufficient notification for bylaw number EC-06, all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads. So we just have to think about how we're going to put this information out there and ensure that all the residents that live along this affected route can participate at the public hearing on November 8th. That's it.
Thank you, Councillor Dederakis. I'm going to go to Councillor McQuarrie, Councillor Lee, Councillor Tidd.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I would also echo the comments from Councillor Hatt that childcare is important, and I think we can work together to make sure that we provide childcare, but also maintain this building for public use. I think we can do both, and we're currently working on that. So, thank you.
Councillor McKay. Good. At this point, Council is number 14. Oh, I'm waiting for Chris to get it up there. 14. Here we are. Date and location of the next meeting is Wednesday, November the 15th, 2023 at 7 p.m. right here at McDavid Place Community Center. At this point, I'll look for a motion for adjournment.
I have a question.
Oh.
That's not really our next meeting. November 8th is our next meeting, a public hearing.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, that's right. Okay, motion for adjournment. Great. Thank you, Councilor Dariakis. Thank you.